How are you? I hope you are doing well. Let us again we continue our science journey, the journey of curiosity. As I have told you in the last lecture that science is all about asking the questions and be curious. So my early words, let us today discuss one of the very basic of science. Our today's discussion, the topic is measurement. Okay, क्या मेजरमेंट क्या है, ये हमें क्यों चाहिए, हमें इसके बारे में क्यों जानना चाहिए. वी ऑल Today we will discuss all the things about measurements, the units, and why this measurement is useful for our day-to-day life and also for our competitive examination. Okay, so let us discuss this. Suppose, let me tell you one simple thing. Suppose your mother tells you that go to the market and bring me the sugar, and she told you that bring me the 2 kg of sugar. Okay, so you go to a shop, one of the kirana shop, and you ask that person, the owner, that uncle, please give me the 2 kg sugar, and he take out that from large vessel where he put that the sugar, and he give you in some clothes, in some bag. And if you observe that process, that how that person gives you that 2 kg of sugar, that's we call a measurement process. He will not give you something let just जैसे कि वो आपको जस्ट एक बैग में दो तीन बार जैसे कि एक मग भर के आपको शुगर नहीं दे देगा. He will measure the amount, he will measure the quantity, and this measurement, this quantity, that's what we today is going to discuss. Okay, are you getting my point? That what is this measurement and why this measurement is necessary, as I told you, in our daily life and also for our competitive examination. As I told you that what we going to that weight that shopkeeper going to measure, going to calculate, and according to that weight you have to pay, for example, 30 rupees per kg. So if you buy 2 kg, you have to give 60 rupee for that thing. And and in similar way, we measures all the things from height to weight to temperature to length, speed, time. All these things we use in our day-to-day life. These are the various formations, various types of the measurement. So what is this measurement and why we need this measurement in a one particular manner, and especially for a scientific purpose? So this measurement is very essential, and why this is essential? It keeps the accuracy, and not just accuracy, but in our day-to-day life, for the conversation, for the sake of understanding, this measurement is very important. Without this measurement, we cannot make a correct judgment. For example, let us discuss about from the earlier example, that if your mother tells you that my child, my dear child, go to the market and bring me sugar, and she just tells you that bring me 2 sugar. She doesn't use that kg or liter or xyz things behind that number. So how will you measure, how will you judge that how much quantity I need to bring to the home? Are you getting my point? That unit, understand the word, we will describe this thing, that unit we use after that number, this unit is important, because from this unit you will judge the criteria that I need to bring 2 kg sugar. For example, this is the season of summer, and you are very hungry, and out of this hunger you are craving for a very delicious juice or the juice of mango. So when you go to that shopkeeper and you ask for that mango juice, you tell him or her that, uncle, please give me 1 kg of mango juice. So that 1 kg is important unit of measurement, because from that 1 kg, that conversation between you and that shopkeeper can goes on. Without that unit, you cannot convert with that person. So for accurate judgment and judgment of various things, for height, for weight, for volume, for mass, for the temperature, all these things, if you want to judge all these things, you require a particular thing which we call measurement. Without measurement, these things can't be possible. So from this we can understand that measurement is a comparison of an unknown quantity with a known fixed quantity of a same kind. Are you getting the definition? That what is measurement? Measurement is a one kind of comparison. And what you compare? So that unknown quantity with a known fixed quantity. Okay. For example, I measure my height, but with what? I have to create a criteria for that. I create a criteria that this is 1 foot, this is 2 foot, this is 3 foot, this is 4 foot, and I stand up here, and if I measure my height with this known criteria, known quantity, and from this known quantity I can derive my own height. That's called measurement. Measurement is a comparison. Comparing what I am comparing? Comparing the known quantity with the unknown fixed quantity. Okay? So that's called measurement. It's a very simple thing. These physical quantities can be divided into 2 parts. Which are the 2 parts? So one part is called known physical quantity, and second part is called derived physical quantities. So let us discuss between these 2 things. The fundamental quantities, which is called with known, and second is derived quantities. Fundamental quantities are the quantity which are fixed. For example, if I have to measure a weight, okay, so for weight, what I use? I use kg, I use gram, Okay, these are the units of measurement. We'll discuss further in our today's discussion. For example, I have to calculate and distance, a distance. For this distance, we'll use kilometer, meter. Okay? Then what is this derived quantities? Derived quantities depends on these fundamental quantities. Let me give you one example. From example, you will immediately understand that what I am trying to say, what I try to give you understand. So, derived quantities are the depend on the physical quantity. For example, there is a one rectangular. If I have to judge the area of this rectangle, for example, this is the area of rectangle, then what I need to do? The area of rectangle, that means I need to calculate length and then integrate that length with a width, with a breadth. So that length and this called breadth, it's called area of a rectangle. So that area is a derived quantity. Basically, derived quantities depend on these fundamental quantities, these basic quantities. Okay? So this is how we can calculate, this is how we can divide our physical quantities in the two parts. Okay? Now the important point. We measure these quantities on the basis of what? We measure these quantities on the basis of units, on the basis of standards. Whenever we measure any physical quantity, what we actually do? We compare that quantity with a known quantity. As I have told you in earlier, the definition of a measurement. Definition of measurement is what? Comparing the unknown quantity with a known fixed quantity. So that this is known fixed quantity are what? They are standards. What are they? They are the standards. And why we need these standards? We'll discuss this in our lecture. So that standards which we compare to calculate that measurement, the standards of comparison is called the unit. Let me give you one simple example of unit. For example, I need to, this is our screen and I need to measure the distance of this screen. So how would I measure this distance? I can use my hand now. I know the length of my height. So this is my known quantity. Okay. I don't know this unit. I don't know this quantity. Remember, this is unknown quantity. So what I will use? I will use my fingers. 1, 2, and 3, and some point, and some of the centimeters. So this distance is 1, 2, 3, and some point. So this is how can this is the mean from which I can derive, I can calculate the distance. आप समझ रहे ना मैं कैसे इसको माप सकता हूँ? With the help of my hand, with the help of my fingers. Okay? But whenever this is the hand span, So this is one handspan, this is two handspan, this is three handspan, and more than three handspan. Okay. So this standard of comparison, called unit. Here units can be, as I have told you, a handspan. Okay. Then from my elbow to the fingertip, this length is called cubit. Okay. So these are the standards which are called units, because from this unit you can compare the things. The need of standard unit was felt because units kept changing from place to place. Now this is the important concept. Give your full attention here. Standard units. Why we need standard units? So, see, units can change from place to place. Okay. For example, in the medieval time period, we use, in some places, we use furlong as a unit of a distance. In some other places, there are foots which are used as a unit of distance. In some another places, there are kilometers which are used as a unit of distance. So there are various kind of units which exist for the calculation of a distance. And suppose we need to interact, if we go to these places and if we need a conversation, I need to buy some area. So then how can I measure that area? Because I know the distance from the point of view of furlong. That person who lives in particular area, in that area the unit of measurement is a foot. So there is a discrepancies between foot and furlong. Okay, I measure in the furlong, that person is measuring in the foot. So to reduce this kind of discrepancy, to enhance the clarity of a calculation, and ultimately to carry forward the business, to carry on the conversation between the two various different areas, we need a standard unit. So this standard unit comes, there is a history of this standard unit, as we will study in this chapter, in this discussion of a SI units, standard international units. That SI unit comes from the French Revolution. It has a history. History goes back to the French Revolution, but we will not go into that things, because that French Revolution we will discuss in further your preparation time. Okay, in the historical point of view, in the history subject. This SI units are the standard units. So as I discussed now, why we need standard units? Unit was felt because unit kept changing from place to place. So that's why what we have created a fixed unit. With fixed unit, that means a fixed quantity which is accepted as a standard by people all over the world. So what is the benefit of this fixed standard units? A clarity. What is clarity? Clarity of judgment. और क्या हो सकता है? Conversation. doing a business in a various areas, you cannot do business until and unless you don't have a fixed unit of measurement. So these are the standard units of measurement. For example, if we need to calculate a length, there is a meter, there is a centimeter, there is a foot. If we need to calculate a mass, then there is a kilogram, there is a gram, there is a pound. If we need to measure a time, there is a second, in a MKS, CGS, FPS. So these are the systems. Earlier we use in the medieval and early modern time, the system are used the FPS and CGS. But right now, I think in the whole world we use this MKS system of a measurement. So this is the definition of standard unit. Right now I think you can guess easily that standard units is what? The unit that could be used everywhere as a basic unit. Now you got my point that the unit we used anywhere as a basic unit of measurement, that unit is called standard unit. For example, for a length, there is a kilometer. This kilometer I can use in India, into USA, into UK, into Australia, wherever I go, I use this standard unit kilometer to calculate any distance. Okay, right now you got my point? Yes. So now these are the various quantity. For example, there is a length, there is a mass, there is a time, there is a temperature, there is a current, there is a luminosity, there is a substance, there is an angle, there is a solid angles. For all these quantities, there are various units. Okay, there is, if you want to calculate length, you will use meter, you will use kilometer, you will use centimeter, and the symbol of this meter is small m. Now remember this important thing, my childs, early birds, that symbols are always into the small letters, except that symbol is derived from the name of some scientist. For example, this temperature, the unit symbol of a temperature is a Kelvin, and we use a capital K. Why we use capital K? Because this symbol is derived from the name scientist called Kelvin. This is the ampere, capital A, to measure the current. Why we use capital A? Because Ampere, he was also a scientist. Okay, so any capital word which is used as a symbol, it's from this name of scientist. Otherwise, we use small letters. For example, to measure a time, the unit is second and the symbol is S. For example, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. If you want to measure a mass, there is a kilogram. For example, I have told you now that 2 kg sugar. If you want to measure a luminosity, luminosity means a light, that how much light in this room. So there is a candle and the symbol is CD. There is a amount of substance, for that there is a mole. So these are the various units, standard units. Standard units means system internationally derived, SI from the French word. Are you getting my point? Do you know that in the India, this was most important and very interesting fact that in the National Physical Laboratory, that is called NPL, which located in the New Delhi, is responsible for maintaining the national standards for all the basic units in India. So there is a, in the global level, there is a SI unit. The system come from the French system, but in India, the organization which is responsible for maintaining the standard units is National Physical Laboratory. The headquarter is in New Delhi. You can see this thing.